I want to quickly talk to you about the top 10 tax deductions for entertainment industry professionals. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of the Awesome Sweetie Kiwi Show. How are you today? I hope you are doing fantastic. I'm doing marvelous, if you're to ask me. And if you are doing as fantastic as I am, go grab a cup of coffee or tea or vodka and let's roll. In today's conversation, I want to talk to you about the best tax deductions for entertainment industry professionals. And I mean all categories. I'm talking about singers, actors and actresses, filmmakers, video makers and animators, producers, MCs, DJs, and talent agents, among others. Now, obviously, this list is not exhaustive, so it's very important to understand that the deductions I'm going to talk to you today about are so great that they apply to all entertainment industry workers. Keep in mind, this is a basic list of typical expenses incurred by entertainment industry professionals, but you could have others, right? So whether you're self-employed, own a small business, or run a mid-sized entertainment operation, either permanently or seasonally, guess what? You can certainly lower your taxes with the tax deductions I'm going to give you today. Number one, studio-related cost. So when I'm talking about studio-related costs here, I want you to think large. I want you to think comprehensively. So everything from studio rent to studio supplies. You have location cost if you have to shoot a movie or a video outside, outdoors. So any expense that you incur in terms of your studio, you have to actually you can deduct it. Number two, you have education. Now, education, again, I want you to think large here. So education cost includes books, magazines, reference materials. So anything that the IRS can understand, that anything that is ordinary and necessary for your business, for your entertainment industry profession, will qualify. Also, if you have workshops, trainings, online or offline, we're currently living in a situation where we have to prioritize online learning, online meeting. So education, any workshop, any coaching that you have received on the internet will qualify. Number three, tools and supplies. First, you have equipment. So any piece of equipment that you use in your job to advance your profession, to advance your professional interest, will qualify. And you have also film and processing tools will also be part of the tax deductible expenses. And you also can deduct film supplies. And again, the thing here is the film supplies that you acquire in the normal operation of your business or on a seasonal project will also qualify. Number four, we have office supplies in terms of home office supplies. So I'm talking here about things that you would use at home. I have an entire section focused on home office later on, but right now I just want you to focus on the office supplies that you use in your home if you run your business from home. Now, if you don't run it from home, and you rent an office, you can still deduct the supplies that you pay for when it comes to running your operation. Number five, we have promotion and networking. So as in the entertainment industry, by nature, it's a very open and sociable industry, right? So you got to promote, you have to network, you have to know people, you have to actually run elbows with other people. This is very important. So everything from business gifts to business meals to promotion events can be deducted. And I want to open a short parenthesis on the fact that business meals are only deductible up to 50%. And the IRS has strict rules around that deduction. In other words, the meal has to be a business meal. In other words, you have to discuss before, during, and after the meal. You have to discuss business business matters, not anything, informal or personal. And promotion events also counts. Advertising in traditional media and on social networks will also qualify. You can actually deduct those. Media appearances, those are fully deductible. Cultural events, so anything you spend on cultural events, and as well as memberships and membership dues in professional organizations will qualify. Expense number 6, transportation. So here I'm talking about cabs, subways, buses, or travel in general if you have your own car. Now, the IRS has stringent rules in place when it comes to the deduction of transportation expense. And they have IRS agents have lately been auditing thousands of taxpayers who mistakenly deducted travel costs or blatantly abused the system. So what travel expenses can you deduct? So if you're traveling for business and your trip requires that you spend at least one night away from home, you can deduct the cost of lodging and food, plus any ordinary and necessary expenses that you pay to get the job done. The key words here are what? Ordinary and necessary. So here I'm talking about the travel I'm referring to here is includes airfare, car rentals, ride shares, and subway tickets. You can also deduct dry cleaning costs and the cost of transporting things like marketing materials or large displays. You can even deduct a portion of your phone bill and internet access charges that you receive on the road. All of these expenses can be deducted 100%. The only expenses, and I've already said that before, the only expenses that aren't 100% deductible are meals, which are 50% deductible. And you can either make sure that you track vehicle usage. So if you use your own vehicle for business, some of the expenses spent on the car can be deducted. So when it comes to deducting for mileage, there are two options. So the first is the easiest. So you just apply the standard mileage rate of 57.5 cents a mile for the tax year 2020 and 56 cents per mile for tax year 2021 to all mileage accrued. So that's the first option. The second option is to list actual cost of gas, oil, insurance, maintenance of your vehicle, etc. It's important to be aware that only mileage accumulated specifically for work-related events qualify. And this is why it's very important to have detailed logs of these trips and expenses. And you can also deduct parking and tolls. So depending on your location, parking fees and toll roads may not be relevant. However, for those who have to deal with them, they can add up quickly. So when traveling for work, for your entertainment industry work, keep records of this and file them as travel expenses on your tax return. And now there are some travel expenses you cannot deduct as an entertainment industry professional. And so combining business and pleasure is certainly not forbidden, but if you are planning to deduct the cost of a trip with both, make sure to keep detailed records to differentiate them. You must be able to prove why the trip was necessary for business and which expenses went towards that, and only that. Very important. Okay, I'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of the Awesome Sweetie Kiwi Show. We are still having a conversation about the top 10 tax deductions for entertainment industry professionals, and I'm talking about all categories. Number 7, we have professional fees. Now, the deductions you can claim when it comes to professional fees run the whole gamut. We have legal. So if you have hired lawyers during the year to help you to sign a contract, to review the contract, anytime you reach out to a lawyer, to an entertainment industry lawyer, you can deduct the fees that you pay to that lawyer. Accounting, same thing. Whether you have hired an accountant or you have spent some cash on accounting software, or you're paying monthly fees or monthly charges related to an online cloud-based accounting service, you can deduct all those. They are deductible. Talent agency. So if you are using the services of a talent agent, you can deduct his or her fees. Talent coaching. And talent coaching here, I mean live coaching or online coaching. So anytime you reach out to someone, let's say you have a coach or you have a singing coach, or you have an acting coach, or you have any type of coaching service that you use for to better your art, to better to improve your talent, to improve your game, you can basically deduct those. And you also have tax preparation, of course, and this includes the money you pay to a live person, to a CPA or an EA, enrolled agent, as well as the money you pay for software such as TurboTax or QuickBooks or Tax Act or Credit Karma Tax, and so on and so forth. All right. Number 8, insurance. And here the insurance has two parts. Insurance you can deduct comes in two ways. So you have business insurance. So whatever you spend, whatever premiums you pay to cover all aspects of your business, whether you are self-employed or you run a small or mid-sized entertainment operation, any type of business, including malpractice insurance or professional liability, whatever it is, you can deduct that. And you also have health insurance. Health insurance is the second part. I want to quickly talk about health insurance because this is very important. If you are self-employed, you may be eligible to deduct premiums that you pay for medical, dental, and qualifying long-term care insurance coverage for yourself, your spouse, and your dependents. And this health insurance write-off is entered on page 1 of Form 1040, which means you benefit whether or not you itemize your deductions. This is called an above-the-line deduction. So unlike an itemized deduction, this deduction treatment is beneficial because it lowers your adjusted gross income, right? So having a lower adjusted gross income can reduce the odds that you'll be affected by unfavorable phase-out rules that can cut back or eliminate various tax breaks. So this is very important for an entertainment industry professional. So you want to keep in mind that this deduction that I'm just talking about also means that you cannot deduct the premiums when you calculate your self-employment tax liability. So when it comes to health insurance rules for health insurance expense deductibility, you have to understand that eligibility is determined month by month. So you can only claim the health insurance premiums write-offs for months when neither you nor your spouse were eligible to participate in an employer subsidized health plan. For example, let's say you were single and ineligible for any employer provided health plan during the last 6 months of the year because you left your job and started your own business. So you can claim the deduction for premiums you paid for coverage during that 6-month period. Okay. And what about earned income limitation? So the deduction cannot exceed the earned income you collect from your entertainment business. For example, if your self-employment activity is, let's say, acting coaching, and that activity generated a tax loss for the year, you're not allowed to claim the deduction because the business did not generate any positive earned income. And we also want to talk about partners and LLC members. So those partners and LLC members who are treated as partners for tax purposes are considered to be self-employed. So if you fit into this category and directly pay your own health insurance premiums, you can claim the page 1 deduction I just spoke about, page 1 of Form 1040. And if the partnership or LLC pays the premiums, special tax reporting rules apply to the partnership's or LLC's return, but you can still claim the deduction for premiums paid for your coverage. Very important. And last but not the least, I just want to talk about this too. So premiums that you pay to cover your employees. So if your business, say, has employees, and you pay health insurance premium for them, these amounts are deducted on the applicable tax form in line for employee benefit program expenses. So for example, if your business is, let's say, a dancing school, you deduct premiums paid to provide health coverage to employees on Schedule C. So tax deduction number 9, home office. The thing here is that if you are lucky enough to work from home and you're able to run your operation from home, there is a constellation of deductions that you can actually claim. when it comes to your entertainment industry operation. First, you can deduct the mortgage, interest, and taxes, property taxes. You can deduct gas and electric, internet and website maintenance, telephone. Here I'm talking about phone and phone bills. I want you to really be cautious though, that you cannot deduct the full amount. You have to actually prorate. In other words, you have to allocate the percentage of your house that you allocate to the business. Let me clarify that. Let's say that you have one room in the house that you allocate to your business, and that room, in terms of square footage, amounts to 10%. So that means that you will have to take 10% of your mortgage interest, 10% of your property taxes, 10% of your gas, of your utility bills, 10% of everything, and allocate that to the business. All right. And number 10, folks, number 10, labor. So labor here means that labor is important because you probably have either a small business or mid-sized operation, or from time to time you actually hire freelancers in your entertainment industry activity. So everything from staff wages to distribution costs. Let's say you are a filmmaker, you have to think about distribution and all that, and all the ancillary costs. Editing costs also account for labor, and they are fully deductible. You have production cost, production and post-production cost. And if you have messengers, private mail carriers, postage, all this constitutes expenses that you can fully deduct on your tax return on your 1040. And this is very important now. The bottom line here is what? Is that you have to keep the proper paperwork. You have to keep your paperwork. You have to keep everything handy. And it's also important to say that you don't have to fill this form. You don't have to file your form manually. You can do it on the internet. And if you have the proper software, they can certainly, the program will help you input the right amount of expenses that you want to claim. All right, folks, thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. I was having a short convo with you about the top 10 tax deductions for entertainment industry professionals. Number 1, let's recap here. Number 1, studio related costs. Number 2, education. Number 3, tools and supplies. Number 4, home office. Number 5, promotion and networking. Number 6, transportation. Number 7, professional fees. Number 8, insurance. Number 9, home office. Number 10, labor. I will see you next time, but until then, remember, stay marvelous.